Hi, this is Ellie with Full Moonlight Tarot 20. And tomorrow is April 1st, and we're having a full moon, and I'm already feeling the energy. So, what is it that Spirit wants you to focus on with the full moon energies? I've got here find a balance, breathe through the tension, let your fears dissolve, and leave the past behind. So, how do you create some balance in your life? And that's something that's really hard in this day and age because a lot of us have to work very hard to make a living. And with the way wealth is distributed so unequally in this society, a lot of times people have more than one job and they have to struggle family life, working life, housework, and there remains very little time for actually doing hobbies and self-care. And Spirit really wants you to have a critical look at how you are structuring your life. Because even if you're working more than one job, there has to be something that you can incorporate into every day that it has to do with self-care, something you're doing for yourself. Even if when you're on your lunch break, you have a 5-minute meditation, or you go for a short walk, or you do something that's going to bring some balance within you. But also on your days off, don't just focus on housework and getting caught up with laundry. Actually do something that fills you up, right? Something that fills up your cup. And that's the thing, because a lot of us are burnt out because we're giving out more than we're taking in. You're giving so much to other people. You're giving so much of yourself in the workplace, to your family, and not much is getting poured back into you. And that is where burnout happens. So, what can you do in your busy everyday life to pour back into you? So, that's something for you to focus on. Now, with breathe through the tension and let your fears dissolve, there must be something that's going on. Maybe it's the state of the world right now, with the wars, with poverty, with the inequality that's happening everywhere, things that we're seeing, the hatred, and um, just the awful way people treat one another, right? This can really weigh down on us. And Spirit wants you to not feed into the fear. Don't feed into the fear of the collective. Stop watching the news. If you find the news upsetting, and yes, I don't say walk around life with blinders on, but don't focus so much on the news that you walk through every day with fear in your heart and fear of where everything, what's the energy, the current energy going to lead to, and if there's some catastrophic future ahead of us. Stop putting your energy into that, because all you're doing is feeding. You're energetically feeding the general fear that's going on in society today. And you need to take that energy back. Now, pray. That's one thing you can do, is pray. And try to keep your energy light. Try to stop thinking negatively. Try to have more positive thoughts, because what happens is the more people are having positive thoughts, the more positive energy you're exuding. It's actually going to try to balance out the fear and negativity that's happening in society, right? That's why there's so many light workers that have incarnated on Earth at this time, because we're trying to keep a balance between the negative and the positive energy, right? Because if there's that much fear mongering, there's a lot of fear mongering that's going on, especially online. Everybody is so tuned into online. And honestly, there's a lot of false news that is being spread just to keep the negativity alive and to feed the negative energy and to feed the fear on this planet. Take your energy back. Focus on you. Focus on making your environment full of love and light. Pour into other people, the people around you, spread love and light and hope. And that is how we combat the negativity, the negative energy, the fear. Breathe through the tension. When you are feeling fearful, ground yourself. Ground yourself. Feel your feet on the floor. Breathe deeply. Feel that breath. Put your hand on your heart. Put the other on your abdomen. And breathe deeply a few times. And that is grounding. Or walk in nature. Walk barefoot on the grass if it's not too cold out. And ground, ground, ground when you feel that fear, right? Leave the past behind is our last card at the bottom of the deck. Don't dwell in the past. The past is done with, the past is gone. And that's another way that we're holding on to negativity, is when we live in the past and not the present, right? We're letting the past have a negative impact on us in the present moment. And that's robbing you of life. If you are constantly thinking of the past, you're not focusing on the life that's happening around you at this very moment. And it's robbing you of the ability to make this moment the best it can be. And this present moment is all we have. This is the only moment we actually have an impact. That is where your power lies. The present moment is where you have influence, where you can actually steer your life where you want it to be, where you have the power to shape your life into the most beautiful life that you could ever have. And that can only happen if you stop thinking about the past and you stop worrying about the future, because the future hasn't happened yet. And we don't know what future we're going to have. And there's no point in worrying about the future, because, as I said, the only power you have lies in the present moment. The only power, the only time that you have to shape your life is now. So focus on the now. Focus on what you're eating without looking at your phone. Focus on your surrounding when you're out walking. I see people walking all the time and they have their headphones on and their noses in their phone, and they're completely missing what's happening around them. They're missing the birds. They're missing the wildlife. They're missing the people they could meet, because they're not even paying attention to the people that they walk past, when there could be important connections they could be making with other people. Or they walk right past a soulmate because their nose is in their phone. Completely missing life. So think about that. Focus on the present moment. Focus on what you're doing and enjoy each bite you eat of food. Enjoy it. Don't spend that time that you're eating thinking and worrying about other things, or scrolling through videos on whatever app you're on. Focus on what you're doing at the present moment. When you're at work, don't think about, oh, I would rather be home, but make your day at work the best it can be every moment, and focus on, what can I do, even if I'm doing something that's so tedious and repetitive and boring because I've done it for so long and I do it every day. How can you make that a better experience for yourself? Right? Try to stay positive. So that's what I got for you today, guys. Something for you to work on through this full moon. Love and light. We'll talk again soon.